Welcome back to WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're positively in Salisbury. We're downtown Salisbury. I am being hosted by the mayor of Salisbury, Jake Day. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. We're letting ourselves play, giving these away for being our contestant today. They will receive free scratch. People have been winning $5 and $10. I had a $20 winner, and I had a $50 winner earlier on the tour. People really win. It's also brought to you by our friends at Window Nation, our friends at Goodwill. Window Nation, 866-90Nation. They put my windows in. You buy two, you get two free. And last but not least, the Restaurant Association of Maryland. I have a feeling these fellows will get together on that. That is September 16th to the 25th, helping small businesses like right here. We're in Mogan's Oyster Bar. The Secretary of Kindness has grilled oysters for us. The mayor is here, Jake Day. We have Carl Anderton here, who made me tell
a lot of stories.
A lot of football stories,
yeah, man.
Well, he's a stallion. So this guy comes up to me at the Preakness. Well, it's been an hour and a half since I told the story on the radio. This guy comes up to me at the Preakness, and it was 150 degrees in the tent.
She's warm, brother.
Yeah.
She was warm.
I wore a paper-thin shirt, and I'm melting away. And, like, you have somebody here taking pictures.
Yeah.
Hi. And it was just like this, but this was the governor's photographer.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you mean, put you guys together.
Right.
She's even better.
This
right.
picture, it looks like I drove in from the Caribbean, on a boat. I'm soaking wet. And it was just awful. And he comes up to me, and I'm just, like, trying to, like, get a drink and cool off. And he's like, hey, man, Carl Anderton from East Shore, and elected official, governor, and Jake Day, you're there, and you're coming back, right? And I'm like,
I mean, it wasn't quite like that. I don't really, rah, 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 rah. It's more like, hey, man, what's up, homeboy?
That's Carl. That's Carl. Yeah. Oh, it is Carl.
He didn't homeboy me, but so he said to me, you were here, and I'm like, how do you know about me over in Eastern Shore? And he said, I watch Baltimore Positive podcast.
Yeah, man.
And you were really proud that I came to Salisbury.
Absolutely.
And I think last year I said this to you over for Telly's. People skip it. And they skip Frederick, and they skip Hagerstown, and they skip Cumberland, right?
Course.
They skip all these. Some people skip Annapolis.
But they're missing out.
They're missing out. And I'm Baltimore Positive, and I'll tell people, you come to Baltimore, I can't guarantee you the greatest experience ever, but there are a lot of great things you can experience in Baltimore, and I do them all the time. And getting out on this tour and learn, and I want to get to your zoo. I wanted to get here earlier today and be a part of it, but knowing that this guy on the other side of this state, on the other side of the aisle, sees my work, understands what we're trying to do, it was very gratifying to me. We're on a professional and personal level. And you said, hey, you want to come back and do this again? And I text you, and the next thing you know, I sort of counted on, I knew we would be doing a day here. I didn't know where or when. And I know you wanted to show off downtown. And I know both of you are really proud of what this is. And this wasn't even staged or put together. Like, literally.
Never.
You really do work together and try to get things done down.
Yes,
Listen,
absolutely,
my delegate not only fights for our community and loves Salisbury and loves all the parts of Wicomico County that he represents and does it well, but he's a Marylander through and through, too. I mean, he knows his
He told me how
O's.
much he hated Bob Irsay a minute ago.
Well, look,
so,
and I am in no way surprised that he is a follower and a listener to your podcast.
Well, I
in no way
appreciate
surprised.
Well, look, it's not even patronizing. It's more like there's an impact that I'm trying to make in bringing people and voices together to say, hey, I wonder who the mayor of Salisbury is or who the mayor of Hagerstown is. And I had her, Emily, on. By the way, she told me that people say to her, oh, you're the Jake Day of Hagerstown. She's like, one day I want them to say to
she
you.
has said that to me.
Never going to happen. Never.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Never going to happen. This is the original. She's just a copy. And I say it because she's a friend of mine, but she's a Commanders or whatever fan. So
she is a Commanders fan.
I deserve the right to kind of,
I have to apologize.
I didn't know that about her.
We were supposed to get a donut together, and my wife was on crutches, and we wound up not getting. They have a donut place.
Yes.
Do you know about this place
Yes.
in Hagerstown?
Where they line up.
All right, so I left you on, I think we were together like the 11th of August last year, maybe. It's the second week of August. No, you were one of my first, you were like the second or third of August. You were one of my first guests. So it was the beginning of the tour. I didn't make it out to Hagerstown like the 27th of the month last year. We went out there. We were a little tired. We were getting a little punchy, end of the tour, And we love bakeries. We like fresh local places. We're always looking for a place like Mogan's or a place like Fratelli's, right? There's a Fratelli's out in Middletown that I'm going to get to next year. So the pastry idea was, let's find a donut shop. We saw a lot of donut places, not Duck or whatever. Let's find a local donut shop. So I looked, and when I put in Best Donuts, the one place popped up, 4.9 stars, 5 million reviews. Crumpy's, Krumpes. This is in Hagerstown. It's not even downtown. It's like in a neighborhood in the back of a house in an alley.
Right.
Literally. It's like
Yeah.
literally in a normal little neighborhood. And I looked at Google and it said opens at 7 p.m. And I'm like,
You thinking it's
nah, it's a
upside?
typo.
can't be right.
It's just a
That can't be
typo.
right.
It's just a typo. I mean,
Who eats
and
their
I- and then
donuts
I
at
went
7
to-
p.m.?
Then I went to their website and it says we open at 7 p.m.
They sleep in late.
That's Hagerstown.
Yeah, they sleep in late.
We'll have to give Emily a hard time
I'm
for that.
glad that I have two sane Marylanders, good red-blooded donut eaters, both of you.
Oh,
Donut-
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, that would say, who would do this? And I thought it's a mistake. And no. I went and had my crab cake at Rick's at about 5 o'clock, 5:30. I said, we're going to have the donut for dessert. We went over there at 6:45, and there was a line.
You're kidding.
No, there's a line to get the fresh donuts.
Crumpy's
It's been there
Donuts.
it's been there like 80 years. And it's is there anything, give me some Salisbury of a place that's a little, I don't want to say weird because you're the mayor and you represent the people, but is there anything
A
other
dessert spot?
No, just
No,
just something that I need to see. The Waterfowl Museum.
Oh, look, the Ward Museum's great. Great for kids, especially if you got a family.
What don't I know about that I
but-
need to know about? in
But
Salisbury?
everything.
Well, we got lots to share. You already mentioned our zoo, which is
Yeah.
free and free to park zoo, which is a rarity in America anymore. But our Secretary of
Hold on,
Kindness
the
just
zoo. I want Reagan to hear this.
That's
The
right.
zoo is free and it's free to park.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Which is
What
a
animals?
rarity.
Grace is going to be
Oh.
here. She's going to promote the zoo.
Right.
My girls love the sloths.
They
What
have
animals?
sloths.
They've got sloths.
6 blocks from
Spider
here.
monkeys.
Spider monkeys, Andean bears,
New bear exhibits coming.
wallabies. That's right. We're working on
Yeah,
the
that's right.
new expanded
That's
bear
right.
exhibit.
So the last time I saw you, I lived down at the harbor on the 23rd floor.
Yeah.
I moved out to the sticks. We live above the Loch Raven.
Okay.
Out above the radio station, like above,
Wow, yeah, I'd say.
We're in remote northeastern Baltimore County, but 3 miles from the Beltway. So we have discovered we have deer, fox, raccoons,
Yep.
groundhogs, chipmunks, tons of squirrels, birds. Last night we opened the window because it's so beautiful. Window Nation, by the way. I opened the windows. No bugs in my joint anymore. It's
Buy
all
two, get two, right?
Fixed.
You say buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free. So if you got a house with 4 windows,
This
There
is
you
Chrisfield.
go.
Listen to him.
that's 50% off, right?
So, you guys are
You got your own zoo out there. You don't-
exactly.
I mean, look, still
I
visit
had
our
a-
zoo,
I had
but
a-
you got your own zoo.
Yes.
I have an app on the phone that you listen for the birds,
Yeah.
and it'll tell you it's cardinal, blue jay, bluebird. Last night, I opened a window and I heard, whoo, whoo, and I'm like, what's that? Whoo.
Did you have to
whoo.
find the
Well, I went to
It's
Dundalk
a
High
stuttering
School.
Bengals fan.
I went to Dundalk High School. We were the mighty owls of Dundalk, right?
nice?
Spotted owl out
Really?
right out my window. So we have our own zoo, but we don't have bears.
Well, you might. You just don't see them.
We don't have any sloths.
There you go.
We don't have any bears.
And
in
no,
Towson.
no spider monkeys in Towson.
Dude, I was out at
No.
Deep Creek Lake, and I saw 100 bear signs. And I went to the highest point in Maryland, right out by West Virginia, going up the hill. And I looked at it, and I thought, nah, they got bears there.
And our bears come from South America. Andean bears, Ecuadorian bears.
Little guys or big
No,
guys?
they're good-sized bears, but we do have 2 little guys. We have newborn twins. So baby bears in there. Come visit them. I'm telling you, it's a good time. And on top of that, after that, oh yeah, we do have wallabies.
We have
but
wallabies,
After,
okay.
after that, you got to go down to Ugly Pie. That's a dessert spot worth checking out.
Ugly Pie.
It's a pie shop. And they do pie crust cookies. They will do any slice of pie you want turned into a milkshake too.
They got a blueberry pie right now?
Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
I mean, I would have a peach milkshake because I have 100 of those this time of year.
Right.
I feel like some wild Maine blueberry.
Absolutely. They will take care of you.
Mayor Jake
Just
Day
on the
is
other
here.
side of downtown.
He's Salisbury. Carl Anderton's here. He is Wicomico County. Puts his office in Annapolis and comes and gives me a hard time at the Preakness. So working together and getting this done here, and it really is beautiful. And I don't. I should say I don't have anything to compare it to. I mean, you're the mayor that I said I always drove through and didn't stop. But I was aware of what was over here and the Wicomico Civic Center and the college. And, you know, in the 80s and 90s, maybe getting off the road here. But since they built the bypass, and we talked about this last year, I don't say there's no reason to go to Salisbury. You're not going to say that. But if you're on your way, you need to make a reason. And this is why I bring the show down here is to say, hey, what's over there that I never knew about? Today I drove in here, and it's beautiful, modern, clean, friendly, and available. It's right there, right off the freeway.
That's right. And, I think that cities like ours have a ton of charm to offer. I mean, look, I love the big city. I think Baltimore's great. I love the small towns. We got great small towns on the Eastern Shore, St. Michael's, Oxford, Berlin. But, cities that have a well-rounded set of things to offer, like Salisbury, a zoo, a university, and a downtown with great restaurants like the one we're sitting in, Mogan's Oyster House. And I think a beautiful streetscape that, thanks to our delegate, our governor.
It's your vision, man.
Well, look, but, vision needs resources.
I mean, you know how it works.
It takes a team.
You tell me what it is, and that's what we're going to do.
That's what we do, and it takes a team. And the result
Where's
is
the vision from that
this.
come from? Like when you're mayor, you're okay. We have a downtown. We want to make it because we deal with this in Baltimore every day, right? We have, no offense to your resources and assets, we have ridiculous resources and assets in history,
We're
right?
jealous of
and
them.
a port and a big city and people and sports teams and all of these modern things, and we're trying to figure out what do we do. I mean, I see Port Covington, if you haven't been to Baltimore in a while, like it's a city just popping up down there, and we're trying to figure out what it's going to be when it grows up, right? But it's a vision that was nothing before that. This was always something. This area, this has always been
There was
downtown
something, but it was
Salisbury,
dead
right?
when I was a kid. It was nothing. Mike and I were kids here.
Bring me those
grew up.
oysters, man. Mike's got these oysters.
And it was,
bring them in here. I mean,
it
I'll
was
put this in
dead.
here. Well, what was the vision to bring it to life? And I would say to you, and I would say to anybody out there, and this is no offense to the Secretary of Kindness or the Mayor of Salisbury, my favorite town in Maryland has become Frederick. And driving through there, I'd never really been. And we've now been 3 different times, and every time we go, we say, we're going to get a room down there and, or Uber or whatever. We're going to spend the whole night there and not do it on the crab cake tour and not do it for
Just
the lottery
off the
or
grid.
work, just off the grid because we've enjoyed it so much. But off the grid is on the grid for me because if I'm there and having a good time, I want to take a picture and put it up. I want to promote the tasting room. I want to promote Idiom. I want to promote Burnish Tonight. I want to promote Evo. That you told me last year, you were the one to tell me, you got to go to Evo, you got to go to the zoo. Yeah. And you inspired me, really. I mean, on the second, third day of the tour last year, I started thinking more about next year's tour.
Yeah.
And the things that I could do the next time.
There is a next year's tour.
Well, that's why the brewery and coming to another place and hearing a different story, and more than that, updating on where we are. Biden, Trump, the world, sports, the economy, the plague, all of that, right? So a year later, how are we doing down here? How's Salisbury?
Well, here's what I want to point out. Let's go back to Frederick for 1 second. People in Maryland should remember that is a world-class, perfectly executed city. They have done it absolutely perfectly right. And not every community is going to be a world-class tourist destination like Frederick. And I'm so proud of my friends in Frederick for that. But what Salisbury is, the vision, I think, is to take what was an Eastern Shore town that had died a little on the inside and bring it back to life and make it one of the great small cities in America. So that's the journey we're on. So we are on that journey right now. We're not at our destination yet. We got a long way to go, I think. But I'm so proud of the things that we've been able to accomplish together.
So you say a dying city like that. I feel the same way with Baltimore. It's like Baltimore is definitely it is a diminished version of Baltimore right now versus what we would want, what I remember, what I've experienced working in the city and living in the city for 40 years, right? For you with the vision of here, what is that vision and how do you bring it to life with commerce and shops and open spaces and making it attractive to people in Del Mar to drive down here once a week, once a month for a special event, for a community event, for whatever y'all dream up that's going to get people here?
Well, I spent some time a couple weeks ago with a good friend of mine, Joe Riley. He was the mayor of Charleston, South Carolina for 40 years. And he says it better than I think I've ever heard anybody else say it. And this is what we want to do here. And what we've been working on here is great cities are made of lovable spaces. If people can't fall in love with the spaces, the greatness never manifests.
I've never heard anybody say that.
It never manifests. Well, there's a reason he did it for 40 years. He did it right. And he's out there, evangelizing on how to do it right. And that's why Main Street looks the way it does now here in Salisbury, trying to build a lovable street. And that's why our town square that we're getting ready to build over here.
Oh, you don't have a town square. You have a new one.
We have no center. There's about to be a town square with a fountain.
Back to the Future.
No,
there's no clock.
No, it's all.
We got to have a
the clock tower's
man.
coming.
All right.
It's coming.
All right.
And then, our
I'll drive
Riverfront
the
Games
DeLorean.
Park and our
Actually, be a
zoo
Coons
and our
Ford, but-
amphitheater, all that stuff. You drive your Coons Ford. That's right. So all that stuff is creating lovable spaces. And that vision is that we have a center that has enough of those things that people can find diverse spaces to be around, great restaurants to be in, and that will be a space at the center of this city that they want to stick in. Because when I say we were a dying city, we never lost population. We weren't shrinking. We weren't losing jobs. But we were giving up on our center. And if you don't have that heart, if a city
Or you're
doesn't
just
have
saying
the
go to
heart,
Ocean City if you want to do something, or go to Baltimore,
That's
go
right.
somewhere, go to Dover, go somewhere else.
But
and do it.
no longer. Start here.
Mayor Jake Day's here. One of the things I wanted to do was eat and eat more and
Okay.
eat well. I gained 12 pounds last August. I've only gained a pound. I've been doing a lot of
doing it
yoga.
right.
I've been doing a lot of yoga this year.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in peak physical condition here. I felt like I needed to get into training for all of this and put the French fries. I had French fries last night, but these are char-grilled oysters. This is Parmesan, a little garlic on here, and
A lot of garlic.
when
lot of
I
garlic.
Googled great restaurants in Salisbury, this kept popping up.
Yep.
So when I text you and I said, I think I want to do it at Mogan's Oyster House because I looked at it, I Googled the space, I knew this bar would be beautiful.
It is, isn't
and I knew the oysters. I didn't think about eating the oysters, though. So we're having oysters here. We're going to have a crab cake. It's Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with Goodwill, our friends at the Restaurant Association of Maryland, and Window Nation, of course. And so for the restaurants like this and making it attractive. I don't know, what was this 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Bank.
Yep.
And then it became back of house. This was just bank storage and offices on the corner of the main
I
street,
feel like I'm in
the
New
main
Orleans.
intersection. So
I feel like I'm in New
it was nothing.
Orleans.
It's only better, though. You here in Maryland still, baby. So
Bring me some Remoulade, man, and talk funny to me.
Hold on, I might get that in. We need to get a shot of that.
New Orleans is great for us because, like, it denotes championship. It denotes parade.
absolutely, yes, it does.
Absolutely. So, Mayor, for you with the vision down here,
Yes.
and what's happened here and the buy-in of people, right? I mean, I remember 1980, 81, Harbor Place opens. The people bought in.
Yeah.
People bought into Camden Yards.
Yeah.
There was a story in The Ringer a couple weeks ago about Camden Yards 30 years later, and it gave me that feeling again, you know, that Rick Sutcliffe. And I know the Orioles did their thing. I was in Frederick that night with the Pirates, looking back on 30 years and looking back on all that. Where's this now in the vision from the beginning? Because it's starting to come to life.
Sure.
Where was this 5 years ago? What's the arc on all of this?
Well, buy-in is required in two different ways. First, I think people have to buy in shaping the vision. And so 10 years ago, we were just beginning to ask people their opinions of what they wanted their downtown to look like. So we developed a master plan. I'm a planner by training, a city planner. That's
So what
my
are the
background.
top three things that you kept getting
Well,
out of that?
you
A
know,
place that we want to go to, right? It has to be a place you want to go to.
Well, they wanted great restaurants. You know, they wanted places to live in the center, and they wanted beautiful public infrastructure, meaning the street, the roundabout, the amphitheater, things like that, which are now all built. Were part of that visioning process, and we had people participate in the planning of their downtown. And I think that buy-in has led to the buy-in we've seen since about what you see on a third Friday with the streets packed with thousands of people.
Third Friday's your
Fridays.
okay.
That's our big arts market. But also Friday nights in our amphitheater we have live concerts, packed house for.
I got to come
that.
back on a Friday.
You got to
That's
come
what
back
you're
on a Friday, and I'll tell you,
I ain't coming here on a Friday. How am I going to get the traffic? I'm going to have to come on Thursday.
Come on Thursday
That's what I'm
and stay. That's right.
Who the hell drives to the beach on a Friday?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
And then
Yeah.
August 26th through 28th, you're going to see what we can really do, which is the National Folk Festival, America's largest and longest running traditional arts festival right here in downtown Salisbury.
That's music.
Has live music,
Everything.
performers, you name it.
It's crazy.
All
fun.
traditions,
Yeah.
art forms. I mean, everything.
It's not
from,
just folk. I
yeah,
mean, it's,
everything. From
It's
Well, bluegrass, all that.
bluegrass,
Yeah.
hula, skateboarding, anything. All
Rap?
sorts of food traditions.
Chris Field
Absolutely.
rap?
We'll have go-go.
Do you know his rapper name?
No, tell me. Do tell me.
Oh,
I'll bet
he
I
knows
could
my
guess.
nickname. He knows.
It's
yeah.
cornbread.
Yeah, so yeah.
Come
They
on.
all know each other down here. They do, man.
Everybody knows cornbread.
I'm just happy to be in a place where the Democrats and Republicans at least get along and us
That's
eat
right.
an oyster and hang out
Absolutely.
and be civil. you
Yeah,
know?
right.
I'll
Go
bet
to
we
a
could sit
brewery.
here for a while and you wouldn't know who's who.
So you inspired me last year to see more things because I felt like a jerk sitting in front of the mayor of Salisbury and saying, I've only been to the bathroom and like got a milkshake at the Arby's here once in like 1985. Literally. And then you built the bypass road that really kept us all away, right? So I said that to you, and reasons to come here and be a part of what's going on here. But the inspiration was stopping and seeing different things and learning about zoo, because I hadn't thought about Swallow Falls or Deep Creek when I was sitting with you. And then the whole tour changed, I think, in the beginning, because I thought it was about crab cakes and talking on the air, and it really turned out to be like finding out what Antietam looked like, finding out what an antique store in Oakland would look like, finding out what downtown – I had no idea if downtown Frederick would look like that. And when I pulled in here today, I had Google mapped it a little bit, and it felt like there was an amazing amount of investment that would be made here. And I don't know, it just inspired me to come back and do it again.
That's true.
The breweries were the jumping off point. Last year we talked, and you said to me Evolution, and you said to me Burns, and I'd never really heard of them.
Yeah.
I'm not a craft beer drinker by trade, although I love stouts, and I've learned to really enjoy these breweries. I've done, today's day 15, 16, I've done 19 breweries in the first 15 days. I'm doing 2 more today. You bragged about that. They are something that's ubiquitous around the state now.
Yeah.
And in something that 20 years ago, when you ran for office in 2005 in Delmar, there were no breweries in the state. I mean, not certainly not in this way. And I think that they brought a whole different – when I'm in those spaces, the clientele in there, I wonder where those people were hanging out 10 or 15 years ago, because it feels very natural. They all feel like they've been there 100 – every one of them feels not contrived or conceived, but they feel authentic.
Right.
What am I going to find when I go here?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. At Evolution Craft Brewing, you're going to find Maryland's 3rd largest craft brewery, which has great beer, and they just started putting their Jack-o'-lantern, if you like pumpkin beer, on tap. Great beer.
I went out beer drinking with my son the other day, and he bought pumpkin ale. I'm like, dude, it's almost July. It's 115 degrees out.
Yeah, but look, they lean
Gotta
forward.
get it. It's going to be gone by Labor Day.
That's
it's gonna
right.
be gone.
You got to give the people what they want, man.
That's
I've
right.
been telling you that.
People want it. And then
You know how good
Burnish.
that's going to taste fresh tonight for me?
Oh, it's going to
Yeah.
be delicious.
Yeah, I know.
Burnish is great. Big and growing brewery.
Yeah.
Gateway Craft Brewing, which is about a mile south of
Next year.
Burnish. Yeah, look, Gateway. And then expand just a little bit more. You got Tall Tales. You got Local. Who else am I leaving out? You got a bunch of breweries right here around Salisbury.
I'm going to Cinnapuxon at the beach. I'm going to Burley Oak.
Burley Oak,
Right,
yep.
I'm going there.
Burley Oak owns Local.
I'm going to RAR in Cambridge. I'm going to Ten Ike on Saturday.
Up in
So
Queen
I'm,
Anne's County?
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm making my way through here and doing all that. But that's another thing that is, there'll be a brewery down here, right? There'll be a downtown brewery
Yeah,
here.
in fact, we
yeah.
got a distillery under
I was
construction
going to say,
right
I mean,
now.
this
Right now,
screams to
downtown.
me when you build the DeLorean thing over here. That
Right.
there's So what else is going to be here when this is done?
So we got right down the block. We're working on a steakhouse, distillery, speakeasy under construction with apartments above it. You've probably noticed.
We'll be doing the steak and bourbon tour there in 24.
Yeah, that's right.
You see the building right
We got-
behind us here being
New high rise.
I didn't- I
just
parked
down the
right here.
block.
Okay.
So there's student housing. So that'll be almost 400 Salisbury University students living right here downtown. 2 large buildings under
How
construction.
far from the campus am I right
Only
now?
a mile. Mile and a quarter to the center.
And
of
it never
campus.
snows here, so I could walk.
Barely. One day a year.
you're going to get
Yeah,
one
day.
snowfall. Yeah.
You can walk. And then right over here on this lot, we've got a town square that's going to start construction after the folk festival, and behind that is another development with storefront, so shops, restaurants, and housing above that.
All right, because I'm a journalist, I have one gotcha question for both of these dudes,
do it.
and it came off the street. All right,
Okay.
so I parked right over here next to the Whiting and Turner. Okay,
Yes.
and I saw this on Google Maps, and my car, it's my white car right there.
Okay.
So I pull in and I park. I'm bringing all the stuff in. Drove down from Baltimore, 2.5 hours, and I got met by a young, good-looking guy like you. Looked a lot like you, actually, a little younger. Comes up,
I
he's
had
got
a disguise
WBOC logo on. He's got a microphone flag, and he comes up and says, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a few questions?" And I looked at him and I'm like, "All right, I'm a journalist. I'm gonna
Right, what's up?
yeah, I'm
You
like,
gave him the man on the street interview?
he was no. So he said to me, I'm like, dude, I'm not from around. I'm just setting up here and doing a thing or whatever. And he's like, you see that scooter there? What do you think of the scooters here? So he asked me, and he didn't
How
do
did
it
I
on,
know?
He didn't do
How
it.
did I
He
know?
didn't do it on camera, right? So I said to him, I told him the truth, and I
Right.
say this on the radio. We had a squeegee shooting in front of my building 3 weeks ago, in front of the place I live.
This was the
Now I
shooting.
moved,
Yes.
but it's
Yeah.
the crosswalk I've walked through
Right.
more than any crosswalk in my life, right? And there have been squeegee boys down there on certain occasions. I'm very anti-squeegee boy because my wife's had problems and just there's no other. I don't pull into Salisbury and see squeegee boys or Frederick or Tijuana or Miami.
It's a Baltimore thing.
Right.
And it shouldn't be. And
Right.
it's not. It's all. I go all over the world. So I'm anti it for all the safety, all the above, right? But I always say the biggest problem in Baltimore isn't the squeegee boys. It's on certain corners. Should it be there? No. It's those scooters. To me, living in the city, the scooters were by far the biggest nuisance, bigger than crime, bigger than anything, that on a daily basis of something that may injure you or injure someone else, or they might get themselves killed, and there's no rules, there's no insurance, there's no accountability, there's nothing. They don't belong on the streets. So I said that to the kid, and he's like, okay. And I'm like, hey, if you want to talk to the mayor and talk to,
Come on in.
Come on in, man.
Yeah.
I said, they're all going to be here. So apparently, I heard on the news that this is an issue here. So is it an issue?
I think it's an issue in every community that has them, and which is almost every community in America. They're everywhere. And I say in America, they're all over Europe. They're all over.
I was in
they're all
Amsterdam.
over the world. They're everywhere. And so whether it's an issue or not, it's here to stay. They're not going anywhere. The amount of we've seen the reaction.
Boy, that's pragmatic.
Yeah, I mean it is. It is as ubiquitous as they are today. You're going to see more of them. I think you're going to see more entries into the marketplace. So much VC
Well, then shut
money.
down downtown like Amsterdam and just have everybody on a bike or one of them.
They do,
And to
they do.
say, we're not going to have traffic for these blocks, and this is where you can do it.
Well, and a lot of cities are doing that.
They do that in Montreal.
Paris is doing that. Montreal. A lot of cities are doing that. I don't think that's the solution.
Progressive
in most
places?
Cities. Yeah, but I don't think that's
You
the
know?
solution in most cities. I think in most cities it's about education and enforcement. Because, I mean, it's a private vehicle with a private company, and it's a private contract, private relationship between vendor, like Enterprise. Bird is no different from Enterprise, renting something to a user. And that user does have liability. They have liability, and they're going to experience that in catastrophic ways. Some individuals who are reckless, careless, they're going to get hit by a car, they're going to get run over, they're going to hurt themselves, falling
What
off and
happens
knocking
when they
their teeth
run
out.
over my ACL and I'm out of work for 8 months?
You can absolutely sue them. Insurance. Absolutely. And you should. And Bird.
I don't want to do
Bird's-
that. I want
No,
them to
but
not
it's-
run me over.
Well, yeah,
I
and
want
they
them
should.
not on the sidewalk.
Well, they shouldn't be on the sidewalk.
Well, yeah.
And that's an
We got bigger
enforcement
problems in Baltimore. We got the kids with the
Understood.
wheelies up in your face, the
Oh, we
dirt
got that
bikes
too.
on
We got
Sundays.
that too.
They're all over America, too.
Yeah, we got that too.
Yeah.
By the way, I went to Annapolis on night 2 of the tour.
Yeah. Where'd you go in Annapolis?
J.D. Souther at Ram's Head. We went to Firm Brewery.
Yeah.
And I had, because I want to brag on things like the Mogan's Oyster House here in Restaurant Week. We went to Hella's in Millersville. Famous Greek joint, big place, nice bar, the lottery, keno, the whole deal going on. They have a crab egg roll with this red pepper caper dipping
Oh,
sauce. Feels like you want to put a shoe in it or a breadstick. You can put that on a
Anything.
napkin. Ugh. So that's what we did that night. But we're in Annapolis. We walked down to the bottom of the hill. I invited Governor Hogan on the 30th. He's running for president, so I'm going to have Wes Moore on instead and Costas in. Accountability is everything.
Hey,
So
man, you be nice about Uncle L, all right?
Uncle Larry?
Yeah. Uncle L's like the future of the funk now, all right? So, sorry, just had to get another one in,
Defend the person, not the party, okay?
Right.
So
Exactly.
right.
Then I said the person.
did you vote for Reagan? And I don't mean the hostess. Did you vote for Reagan in the last election? He did. He should have to answer for that. But
Right.
that's not. So you can't.
I
be-
voted for you in the last election.
How am I going to do radio with him?
I don't know. You might have to bring him on as a co-host.
The Secretary of Kindness is
She'd be much better. She'd be much better, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know, but you told good rock and roll stories,
Well, we have fun. That's what we do, Like
So
I s-
anyway, I'm in Annapolis, and I'm down the hill, and I'm looking for the crab cake joint that I thought I was going to have it with the governor. I'll have it with the next governor.
Right.
And we're coming up the hill, dirt bikes, into the circle at 7 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I just thought it was a Baltimore thing. And I'm like, 58 dirt bikes in front of Ramshead doing 80 miles an hour at 6:15 on a Tuesday night.
In downtown Annapolis.
In downtown Annapolis.
No, look, and So I've attended various sessions at National League of Cities Conference, U.S. Conference of Mayors Conference about this. One thing that police chiefs and sheriffs seem to agree on is it's just brilliant. It is the best tactical vehicle. It's small, fast, unregistered, cheap, and you can outrun police, and it's nimble. You can weave between things. It's just smart, which is really unfortunate from an enforcement standpoint and from a community standpoint.
This is where I become a Republican. Because my father would have said, shoot them. You know what I mean? Like, literally.
Yeah.
That's literally, like, I don't know what the answer is, but tolerance, after living downtown for 15 years and being terrorized and watching women, tourists, elderly, people from other countries on a Sunday afternoon getting terrorized, it's a terrorist tactic.
To the credit of my...
I don't talk about it much, but it's awful.
To the credit of my Republican friends, I think the Republican approach would be not to adopt new laws and create new laws and new policies around them, but rather to enforce the laws that they're breaking today.
Yeah, let's impound the bikes, arrest
credit
them.
to our Republican, my Republican friends.
That's not a Republican. That's just common sense.
It is.
I don't want to fill jails, but I don't want criminals on the street. So
Right.
That's how
That's
I view it in the city.
That's right. But
just take the bikes like you would do any other untagged vehicle.
that's right.
If I drove my car with no tags on it, guess what's going to happen?
That's what my parents would have done to me on my bike.
That's
Right.
the basis of what, as we confiscate four-wheelers and dirt bikes, that's the basis, untagged.
Yeah.
And that's the tool. There's already laws that exist. We don't need new ones. We just need to be able to find these things, which is difficult, track them down, and confiscate them. That's the only thing that's going to...
I'm glad we're talking real issues here.
We are.
We're going to have the Secretary of Kindness on. Please have an oyster before I eat them all.
All right.
We're at Mogan's Oyster House. The mayor of Salisbury, good enough to spend some time with us. Jake Day is here. Also, Carl Anderton's here holding the Window Nation hat. He wants to... You know what?
Get to.
Just for him.
Oh, that's
well,
good.
it's actually for everybody. Our friends at Goodwill and, of course, the Restaurant Association of Maryland, encouraging you to visit not just Mogan's Oyster Bar here in Salisbury, but all over the state the week of September 16th to the 25th. We're going to have special deals. Gosh, that's my first 2 oysters of the month.
That's a good one.
The last 5 or 6 days, we've gone into a different groove, my wife and I, where we're like, sometimes it's just like, let's just get a crab cake and roll, or hey, let's get a steak with that, or hey, let's get some fried green tomatoes, different things. Now we're like going to real seafood joints, second time around. So the other night we went in, we got the crab cake with the crab imperial and the crab au gratin. And my wife, who didn't eat crab before 15 months ago, got the crab soup too. Wow. So we're going like
hard
after it.
Yes.
Hard.
So I'm driving back from the Eastern Shore. Next week we're going to be in Eldersburg on Wednesday at Liberatories. Friday we're in Westminster at Rock Salt Grill. And then we're with the next governor, better be the next governor, of Maryland on the 30th at Costas Inn. Wes Moore will be joining us for breakfast. Appreciate you, bro.
My man.
Thanks for coming up and saying hello.
Absolutely, yes,
Thanks
sir.
for the fun storytelling.
Thanks for coming back to Salisbury, man. Thanks for taking the time to see kind of what makes us unique.
I didn't even know it was 50-50 Democrat-Republican down here. So
Oh, yeah.
he taught me this.
Well, it's...
Wicomico
There's
registration.
8% greater registration of Democrats, but,
Voting.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
Who's counting?
I love them all, man.
All I do is count the signs when I come by, and it's, it's a little...
Signs don't vote, baby.
Signs don't vote.
I'm going up to Hurlock and getting a crab cake this weekend, and if I have to pass 14 Confederate flags to get there, I'll do it because the crab cake's worth it. So people say, a year into this, people...
Listen, you won't find those in Salisbury.
on the way to Hurlock, you will. Trust me.
Really?
You might on the way to Hurlock, but you won't find them in Salisbury.
14? Wow.
Can I brag on a place on the Eastern Shore as being a great
Please.
crab cake? I'll brag on two. Because people back in Baltimore, they're all like, I'm over on the Eastern Shore. Where am I going to get a crab cake that ain't Ocean City?
Chris Field?
Okay, so I would tell them Fratelli's, or I haven't had Mogan's
Yes,
yet.
Fratelli's is
right,
banging.
but here, right? I mean,
These are going to be amazing.
Ocean Odyssey is a place I stopped. I had 2 exceptional I had great crab cakes at Ocean City. I have great crab cakes at a lot of places. I had 2 exceptional crab cakes on the Eastern Shore last year, and everybody pays attention. They all sit up when I say. And they were both highly recommended, and they delivered. Suicide Bridge in Hurlock.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Bridge.
I went there. It was the first crab cake of the tour before I met you on the way down. And I just stopped and had it. It was just so freaking good. It was the first one. I'm like, the first one can't be this good,
It's a great place, though.
And I wound up taking my wife back 10 days later because it was that good. I'm like, I want you to confirm how good it was, and it was really good. So I'm going back there this week. It's second time I go through, third time I go through, I'm there for the crab cake.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Old Salties in Hoopers Island.
Ooh.
You know where that is?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
So you just keep driving. You just keep
Hooper's
driving.
Island.
You just think you're going like the equator, and then you're there.
Yes.
And it's in a little schoolhouse. It's beautiful. So if you're ever on the Eastern Shore, get down here to Mogan's Oyster House as well. Get the char grill. That's Parmesan. That's garlic. Mike's going to join us to talk about that. Secretary of Kindness
So
is
good.
here. Jake is here. The mayor's here. Carl's not here anymore. Get out of here.
I'm out.
Go make nice with the Irsay family. He hates the Colts, which means he gets elected down here, which is good. I am Nestor. We are WNST, BaltimorePositive.com. Stay with us. We're at Mogan's Oyster House in Salisbury.